G'day amigos and welcome to the For Diego's Hot Topic. I'm Rodrigo Rodriguez. With me is Warren Diego and Carlos Alberto Diego. Gents, Harry Redknapp, your older brother Warren, does he look like him?
Yeah, I've been on the phone. I'll give you an insight into my brother in a second.
Well, he only talks to you through Twitter these days, but look, he took over Tottenham Hotspur in 2008, took them to
They were poor.
They were poor, but, you know, I mean, they've been fantastic, at the very least, over the last, at least 4 years. They've been fantastic under Harry Redknapp. Great players going to Tottenham Hotspur. He was touted as the next manager of England and didn't get the job. How the hell does he get sacked from Tottenham Hotspur?
Never believe you're irreplaceable, Rodrigo. And you should remember that, sunshine.
I've been told that many times.
You're irreplaceable. Yeah. And look, when marriages are marriages of convenience and the chairman and the manager don't get on that well...
Oh, right.
And the chairman is possibly looking for any reason to perhaps find a way to part ways... And if that's the case, you've got to be careful. And Harry Redknapp, for a guy who's managed to always land on his feet throughout his career, in the last 12 months, Carlos, he's made some poor decisions around, self-promoting himself to the England job and really, I think, actively canvassing that position. Also, their up and down form, the tapping up or non-tapping up at the start of the season. Then they had a good middle period. But the other thing I think with Tottenham, if you have a look, barring their Champions League year, Harry hasn't managed to have consistent form throughout the season. You take them halfway through this season, they were challenging not only for top 4, but for actually top 2.
Up until the last 10 games, they were 10 points clear. They were in third position, 10 points clear of Arsenal and Chelsea, and they gave that time away. You talked about the self-promotion for the England job. There was a period of time there they were having Tottenham Hotspur, end of the week press conferences before the game, on a Friday or something like that. And every time a journo asked a question about England, he was quite happy to talk about the fact that he'd be honoured to take over as an England manager, and he's just waiting for the call and so forth. I think that's going to be very tiresome for a club that, okay, they were third for a long period of time, finished fourth, and if Chelsea hadn't won the European Cup, or the Champions League, they would have been playing the Champions League next year. I think it's a club that probably saw an opportunity lost rather than how well they've gone. There's millions and millions and millions of dollars are spent here, and Harry Redknapp obviously got his value really wrong.
Yeah, never overstate. What do you always say? Under-promise and over-deliver, Carlos. That's what you always say. That's your mantra in life, and Harry probably hasn't got that right. It's interesting, though. It is a risk for Tottenham. He is a good man manager. If you think about this time last year, Modric wanted to go elsewhere. I probably think it was almost Harry Redknapp that convinced him to stay.
I don't think so. I think the club played hardball, and Man United, who were after him, weren't prepared to pay the money.
But he's managed personalities well. It's one of his strengths. He's man-managed. They've got to get the next appointment right because they have got a truckload of good talent in their team.
Who are going to be going because they're playing the Europa Cup. And guess why? Because he didn't take advantage of the distance he had from third to fourth to fifth with
he got distracted, Carlos,
exactly,
as I do from time to time.
You have to get the whole, of course, cleared. The whole tax evasion, charges and the court cases.
It's a blight on the family, Carlos. Can I say?
We've always said that Harry Redknapp is a good man manager, and you said it just before. Is it going to test the resolve of the club and the loyalty, whatever loyalty there is in football these days, of the players who seem to be loyal to Harry Redknapp? Is it going to test them
Rodrigo,
now that he's no longer there?
You're a really nice guy. You're really naive. You are really naive.
Oh, that's his way of saying I'm in La La Land. He's
players at that level, there's no loyalty. I mean, when I say there's loyalty, there's loyalty to the shirt. I'm not casting aspersions on players.
There's loyalty to the payroll department,
yes, exactly. It's loyalty to the shirt while you're paying me. I don't think these players are going to think twice that Harry's left. They're going to text him and say, "Oh, Harry, you're fantastic.
Misha.
If I'm having problems at Tottenham, get me to your next club. No problem about that." But if Pep Guardiola comes in and coaches them, they're not going to worry about Harry Redknapp. Players aren't going to be too perturbed about that. And the problem with Harry, in the media over the last 2 weeks or so, he's been saying, if you don't sign me up quick smart, there's a lot of players in the change room who will leave. Big names will leave. And Daniel Levy, just called his bluff and said, "You're not that good, mate." And I don't think... There's too many fans out there who apparently on all the social media chat lines and so forth have been quite happy to see the back of Harry. And there's some players, I think, in that change room would probably think...
As a media personality, Carlos is a very owner-centric media personality.
Superficial.
No, I'm not.
I wouldn't call that. He's an entrepreneur.
No, let me just say something. Especially with English teams, and especially teams at the top level, the only constants are fans, and the only constants the next in line are the owners. The owners and the fans are there.
It's a moving feast, the rest of it, Carlos.
Mate, the rest of it's transient the whole time. Managers, players, they come and go. As long as they're delivering while they're under contract, that's fine. But the rest of it, the only constants are fans, number one, and the owners next, because they can't just sell their clubs.
Having said what I said, Warren, so excuse me for interrupting, having said what I said about being an owner's personality, geez, he went after Clive Palmer, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's interesting. They've missed the managerial merry-go-round as has occurred. They're probably going to need to poach. They're probably going to need to go after somebody who's currently signed.
Roberto Martinez, David Moyes.
You think those guys? They think they would be able to, but they've missed the Lambert from Norwich to Aston Villa. That merry-go-round, and you would hate them to see them being tempted to go on that. Let's find an English manager merry-go-round.
Well, David Moyes that they'll go after very, very strongly. That's what the rumour is. And David Moyes, after 10 years at Everton, and with no budget, he's done a fantastic job.
So does Harry Redknapp turn up at Everton?
Well, he may well. He may well because he's actually. Oh, actually, no. He was not. He's suited if they've got money to spend. Harry's always liked to have the budget. And he had big squads.
Yeah, Everton bankrupted a few clubs, Carlos, along the way.
It's true, and really this was his first opportunity to really take a team into Europe. And look, let's face it, he did pretty well. They had some really great European nights. Gareth Bale was a revelation, the way he came through the ranks. But there was also talk of him moving on. See, these guys are going to move on whether Harry's there or not because they're playing Europa Cup and they've got designs for bigger
You'll see these big clubs sniffing around the likes of Bale and Modric and the like, won't you? For sure and certain.
Well, Harry Redknapp, I hope you turn up somewhere, otherwise the Diegos are going to miss you. It's very good value for the media.
I'll get on Twitter.
Yeah. Make sure you get your facts right.
Yep, I will.
Well, that's it for another For Diego's Hot Topic. I'm Rodrigo Rodriguez, Carlos Alberto and Warren Diego. Until next time,
Olé!